Welcome to the Le Twins Inspired Podcast. I am Claudia, and this is a place where we gather stories about our favorite artists, Le Twins, to talk about how they have impacted our personal life and culture at large. Today's guest is Margaret. She's been a longtime fan. Her story is really all about the Le Twins community and how it has become a big part of her life, and how several fans within the community have helped her, have created this miracle for her to finally get to see the guys back in July at the Las Vegas workshop. And she's going to talk about her experience and how magical for her it was, how everything came about, and the experience that she had. So this is a very heartwarming episode. I loved every moment of it, and I hope you do too. Please, to support the podcast, like, comment, subscribe, share, talk about it with people who you think might be interested. I really would love this project to reach as many fans as possible. And for now, enjoy the episode. Hello, Margaret. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
So, first question, as usual, where are you from and where are you based?
I am in Cleveland, Ohio, USA.
Nice. And you've been living there for a while?
I have. I was born and raised in Ohio, so
Oh, wow.
been here.
Midwest. As usual, I'm really curious to know how you got into Le Twins. When did that happen?
I first found them in 2010. I had gotten
Long time
stage
ago.
3 breast cancer, and
Oh.
I was off work because of the chemo and the radiation. And I just happened to catch them. I believe it was on World of Dance, first time, and they absolutely amazed me how they danced in sync together. I'd never seen anyone do a performance like them.
Mhm.
But then, I got better. Life went on, and I wasn't a follower or anything. And about 3 years ago, they popped up on Facebook on my feed. And I thought, oh my God.
Oh.
And the rest is history. I become obsessed.
Serendipitous moment.
Um, they do so much for so many. And another thing that amazes me about them is it seems all of us have found them when we were really, really having a bad time in our
Mhm.
lives. They're like little angels. I mean, they really do. They inspire me. They're normal human beings. They're not
Mhm.
aliens. I promise you, they're not
They're
aliens.
not aliens. Yeah. I don't like when people call them aliens because it makes you feel like they are, above or something else. And I feel like they are how people would be if you would be, free in your mind and be authentic.
Yeah,
So it's actually,
exactly.
they are normal and everybody else is weird.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm too normal. I say too much things that gets me in trouble. I tell people, if you want to know the truth, I'm going to tell you the truth. Don't ask me if you don't
Mhm.
want to hear it. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Fair enough.
you know, there's just too much bad things. Fake people and all of that.
To me, this is a place for celebration and to talk about all the beautiful and positive things that they have
Exactly.
added to our lives. And if people want to go negative, they can go watch the news. Really, this is not the
Exactly.
space for that.
People judge each other way too
Yeah,
much.
I agree. What I meant to ask you is, what do you think really made you connect with them? Like, even in this past, you said 3 years ago when you started to watch them again, what really made you stop and fall into the rabbit hole?
Yeah, yeah, I say that about it. Few people, they fell down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
I think once I really started knowing their background, where they came from,
Mm,
how they fought their way, and how they didn't get lucky because they
mm,
earned everything they've got. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. But Laurent has something about him. He tugs at my heartstrings. He really does.
mhm.
I know he's in pain a lot when he dances, but even like when I just saw them in Vegas, when they first came in, told us how exhausted they were, and they had just closed Beyonce the night before. So I seriously doubt if they got any sleep at all, and they still give us 150%. You know, it was amazing. I love Larry too, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but there's just something about him. You can't help but love Larry because of that smile.
Hmm.
That smile of his, and they're light. They bring light with them. Even if I think anybody would have been in a bad mood, the way they work with people to get them involved, it's amazing. They just
Mm.
truly amaze me.
And actually, yeah, I would like to, for you, if you feel like it, to tell your backstory of the workshop. So how you managed to go there? How was your experience? Because everybody
Oh
was
my
so,
goodness.
something that I really loved is when you went, everybody was happy.
I know. It was
It's like,
absolutely fascinating how this come down. I mean, I have had some really, really great friends in my life. People that have really touched me and done things for me because I'm a giver. I always have been. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought what happened to me was going to happen. Because I always say, when people say how they met him or how they've been there to see him, and I know they've been there numerous of times, that I really want to meet the guys. So I think
mhm,
everybody has known this. Well, when they announced the new cruise, a friend of mine, her name is Tammy Williams on
yes,
Instagram.
Camille.
Yeah, exactly. She had gotten a hold of me and she had went and booked us. Long story short, my daughter lost her job, so I wasn't able to continue making payments to go on the cruise.
Right.
So Cammy didn't go either. I wish she would have, but she didn't want
Mm.
to go if I was going because she's phenomenal. She's
She's beautiful.
wonderful. She is. Well, when they announced the workshops, in Washington and Atlanta and in Vegas, another one that I speak to, her name is for 219. She got a hold of me and she had come into a little bit of money. So she wanted me to go to Vegas with her. I had never flown. I always wanted to see Vegas, but it was like, okay. So, at first I thought, yeah, yeah, whatever. Well, she went for it. She booked the hotel, she booked her flight. Well, she had put off booking my flight because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's more expensive from Cleveland to Vegas. She's based
Okay.
out of Dallas, Texas.
Right.
So it was cheaper for her. So by the time she was going to book my flight, the tickets were like $600.
Oh, wow.
She just couldn't swing it.
Crazy.
And she had gotten hurt also. She couldn't have attended anyway. So even if
Oh,
it would have worked out where everything would have went smoothly, she
wow.
couldn't have went.
What twists and
She
turns.
wanted me to go to her place, and I said, "No, no, no, no." Well, and I had been talking briefly to another girl. Her name is Junie, and she's out of Canada. And she was so excited to find out we were going to the workshop and that we would all hook up when she flew in from Canada. We would meet out there. Well, when things fell apart, I really found out like 2 days before I was supposed to fly out. I think it was a Thursday. Tia told me there was just no way. Well, Maureen Watson had gotten a hold of me and found out that things weren't going right, and she offered to pay the rest of the ticket. That's what I assumed was going to happen. Well, then I found out that Tia had only put down a little bit on the hotel, which, anyway, I ended up rooming with Junie. She told me, "Oh, don't worry, you're going. You can bunk with me." And then I found out Maureen paid for my whole round trip ticket. And I was just,
So,
Tia
like
did
behind
some,
your back, you didn't know? She was like a
well, I,
surprise?
I knew Maureen was going to help with the ticket, but I didn't know she was going to end up just paying for the whole thing. And then Tia had sent me a little bit of money because so I could go. Cammy sent me a little bit of money that I would have out there.
Wow.
Junie was absolutely wonderful. She wanted to do everything for me. And Maureen kept texting me and saying, "If you need anything at all, you let me know." And it just blew my mind how everybody
Wow. It
wanted me
was
to
like
go.
conspiring for you to go and have a good time.
And it was absolutely fantastic. I could not have dreamed of a better experience. I had made a t shirt that had the twins on the front. And on the back, I had my Instagram name, Les Twins Off on 1288. And it said, "We are not just a fandom, we are family." Well, Jeannie and I got to the workshop like an hour and a half before they even opened the doors because we were told to get there early. Well, as people started arriving, it was amazing how many fans were like, "Oh my god, I follow you. I know who you are." And I was just like, "Hey, this is great."
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt really special.
Yeah. That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah, but the guys got there, I think, like 6:30, and I walk with the king. I've had a lot of health issues since chemo. I've got
Right.
arthritis. It's breaking down my bones, but that's neither here nor there. Thank God I still keep it moving.
Mm.
But when they came in, I worked my way right around to the front. So Laurent had come in first and he was coming right down towards me, and Larry was behind him. Well, all throughout the evening, everybody was fabulous. They let me go wherever I wanted to go. I mean, I
Mhm.
ended up right in front all the time. So that was a really cool thing, too.
Yeah. I I just love listening to this. It's like, when everything just comes together for you to go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just so beautiful. That's why I need to listen to these stories.
And still, I'm mind blown. I mean, I truly am.
Mm.
How everyone just
It was
did
like a
it,
little miracle.
It was a miracle for me to be able to
Yeah.
go. I was absolutely terrified. I
Mm.
mean, you know,
Of traveling because you're
and
not
we
used
had
to it.
turbulence. Yeah, and there was
Ah, I see.
turbulence.
Yeah.
They had to pull my fingernails out of the seat in front of me. But but it was a real quick trip. I mean, I flew out of
Yeah,
Cleveland
it
at
should be.
5 o'clock on Saturday. I had to be back at the airport in Vegas at 8:30 Monday morning. So I mean, it
Okay.
was a real fast
So it's like
turnaround.
36 hours kind of thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was fabulous while I was there. I mean,
Yeah.
just seeing them and how it come about was Eleni happened to walk by me, and I reached out and I touched her on her arm, and I asked her if she would introduce me to Laurent. And she asked me if I was going to go to the cipher. And I told her, yes, I was going to go. So she said, when everybody leaves from the workshop, everyone has to go outside. And then the ones that are attending come back in. And I
Also, they
said,
like
okay,
prepare for the cipher.
right,
Everybody goes
right.
out
This
and then.
this way they know who paid for the cipher. So that's how it went. We all went outside, and then a little bit, we all went back in. Well, again, everybody let me walk right in first. And as I walked in the door, Laurent was sitting all by himself in the middle of the room on the floor. And Eleni was across the room from me. And we made eye contact. And she come right over, grabbed me, walked me over to Laurent, leaned down and told him, I assumed that I had my first flight, my first time meeting him. And I told him how much I just adored what they do.
Mhm.
And this other dancer, who's a phenomenal dancer, she had walked over and she gave him a hand and pulled him up off the floor. Well, I had taken a little gift bag for both of them. I mean, I made them both a t-shirt, gave them both a yo-yo because of their stories and not having any toys when they were little. And I gave them both fruit snacks and I wrote them both a card. Laurent told me he would read his card later and he really went through the bag and was checking out everything. Well, while he's doing this, Larry walks over. Larry grabs my cane, hands it back to me, and says, "Love, my brother," and walks away from me.
Well,
I didn't even get to say, "Hi, Larry. It's nice to meet you." I mean, he just gone.
and that's
And he,
from the interaction that you had with
yeah,
Laurent. Like that's what he got.
yeah. I only wanted to meet Laurent. He must have thought I didn't want to meet him. You know
Oh wow.
how competitive they are. They really, really are. I was shocked that he did that, but at the same time, I wanted to laugh at him because it was like, I post you too. Maybe not as much. Yeah, and then maybe not as sexy,
Well,
but I do post you too.
well, you got like
So,
"little girl" written all over you,
yeah,
so he
right.
picked up on that. Yeah.
Just because my Instagram ID is Les Twins off and then on, it doesn't mean anything. But Junie was also standing with me when I had given Laurent his gift bag. So she had handed the little box that she had got for both of them. So when she hands it to Laurent, he's shaking it, and he's listening to see if it's chicken. I told him it's fine, it's fine. I know what it is.
I was taking.
So when he opened it, this was absolutely beautiful what she did for them. It was a wooden box that had the tree of life engraved on the top, and
Mm,
on the inside, there was a leather bracelet, and it had like a Celtic knot, and she had engraved their
mm.
names on each one of theirs.
Wow, that's
And
special.
I had told her before we went, I said, I'm telling you, when Laurent opens his, he's going to put it right on. And he did. He took it out of the box,
Mm.
he put it right on, and he's still wearing it. Me and her will
Wow,
text back and forth and say, "Look, he's got it on." So, yeah, he
that's
really,
beautiful.
really loved it, and I was
Mhm,
so happy for her,
mm,
and he liked what I got him. He was so
mhm,
appreciated. I just wanted I wanted to get the card to him, and let him how impressed I am. The things they do with the children, how they give so much of themselves,
mm,
and they ask for nothing. They ask for nothing in return.
mhm.
And I can't think off the top of my head of any other celebrity that do as much as they do for their fans. When he started performing, I had worked my way around and I was watching him, Laurent. And when he does his backdrop and comes back up, he came right back up in front of me. So we were like eye to eye. And he gave me a big grin, which I thought it was great.
Oh, beautiful.
I had worked my way around to where Larry was so I could watch him for a minute. Well, Larry had a chair and he was really, really hot. A fan had
Mm,
given him one of those paper fans and he was, trying to cool himself off. Well, Laurent, and this took time for this to happen, but Laurent had worked his way around to where he come over to where Larry was, and Larry had gotten up to dance, and Laurent sat down in Larry's chair. Now I'm right behind this chair. I did lean down and tell him again how much I just found him, a fantastic person. And I wanted him to know how much he was appreciated by me. I mean,
mm,
how much he inspires me.
mm.
Because truly, I would not get out of bed a lot of days if I was not involved the way I am with Instagram.
Mm.
And the friends that I have made, the other women, that means so much to me too. Because, I don't have one on one with them. The only time I had one on one was at a workshop.
So how did he respond when you told him again when he was sitting on the chair?
He had grabbed a hold of my hand for a minute, and then I asked him if he would sign my T-shirt because I just happened to have a black magic marker in my hand when
Sure.
I asked him this, and he goes, "Yes." And he turns around, and he goes, "Where would you like me to sign it?" And I stuck my right boob out, and I said, "Here, sign it right here." So he did, and he goes, "I did it soft." And I said, "Oh, you could have done it rough." And he laughed, and then he goes, "And besides, I signed your T-shirt. I didn't sign your boob." And I said, "You want to sign my boob?" And he turned his head back and he laughed at me. But it was just to have much interaction with him,
Mhm.
and throughout the whole time period, just that meant so much to me. The little bit of
Mm.
time that I got with him, because it only made me realize that he was the person I really truly thought he was, that he was just as humble. He was
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
down to earth. He was happy to be there, even though they were exhausted. And he gave me his time. He didn't have to do that. He really
Mm,
truly did. He didn't interact with really anyone else because he was
mm.
so busy dancing, outside of dancing with people, of course. Like when they did their choreography,
Sure.
and he had pulled a couple of people up, impressed him, and things like that.
Okay.
I never saw him really talk to anyone else. So
Yeah.
that again just made me feel
Added
I
a
was walking on
special
cloud nine.
layer.
I was on cloud nine, let me tell you. And I got a really good picture with him.
Mhm.
It was a wonderful picture. It come out wonderful. I got a hold of Larry right before they left. His picture didn't turn out that well, and I
Mhm.
was I wasn't happy about that. But next time, they were trying to get as many pictures with people as they could, but they also had to go because they had a flight to catch.
Yes.
So they weren't going to get a lot of sleep.
Mhm.
And like I said, they were exhausted when they got there. And you could see it in their faces. But they didn't want to leave either. They gave
Yeah.
us as much time as they possibly could. And then as they were leaving, we were all lined up going down through there. And I went out and Trini and I got outside. And when they got in the SUV to leave, it had tinted windows. But as they were pulling away, I started crying like a little baby. I mean,
Mm.
it come on me so quickly. Junie had been asking me when we were heading to the workshop, "How are you so calm?" Because she was a nervous wreck. You know, she was so, "Oh my god, oh
Yeah.
my god, oh my," because it
Yeah.
was her first time meeting them too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was so calm, cool, and collected up until they
Hmm.
left me
Yeah, that's
because
interesting.
it
You had
just
to let it all
meant
out at the end.
it was just so wonderful. Like I said, I couldn't have asked for more interaction with him. I mean, he was
Oh,
just
beautiful. Yeah.
it was wonderful.
It was written in the stars. That's what it feels
Yes,
like.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I've been told that they are really good about remembering the fans that they meet.
Hmm. Yes,
So
everybody says that.
my
Yeah.
one friend told me, "Don't worry, he's gonna know
Yeah.
who you are the next time he sees
And
you."
yeah, you know how he said that he was gonna read your card later. Yeah, I've seen him saying that to other fans because, get given stuff. And just by the way he says that,
Yeah,
I know that he
yeah.
will. Like,
I do too. I
yeah,
truly believe that he read it.
yeah,
I don't know when because they're so
sure.
busy, but
Yeah,
I believe he read it.
yeah,
That
yeah,
I did. I just wanted them to know that how much I appreciate
yeah.
them.
Show appreciation.
And
Yeah.
I do want to mention another friend that I have. Her name is Diane Lamb.
Okay.
She's from Detroit. She happened
Yes.
to ride a Greyhound to Washington to see them for the first time.
Whoa.
And she interacted a lot with Larry. And
Okay.
she danced with him. She had another fantastic experience. But she had taken them T-shirts that I guess in Detroit, but she happened to tell me about it. And the very next day, Laurent had that T-shirt on, and he made a point of, pulling it up so that it was noticed that he was wearing this T-shirt because he had told her he would wear that T-shirt. So when I got a hold of her, I said, "Oh my God." And I sent her the clip. I said, "Look at this." And she's screaming in my ear. She was so excited that he had that T-shirt on. He actually wore it that fast. Yeah, they're they're fabulous. They really are. They get one-on-one with people, and they try and teach them to help them, you know, get through their own emotions or
Yeah,
bullying or whatever
genuinely
the case may
uplift.
be. And they have. Their whole careers they have. They have
Yeah.
never changed. And that's just fabulous.
Mm.
Just wonderful. I will be a lifelong promoter, believe me. And just like I told Cammie, I'm saving my nickels and dimes now. I know I will see them at least once next year somewhere. And if God willing
Nice.
and it all works out, next year I want to go on the cruise if they have one.
Yeah.
You know, but I have never just went somewhere all by myself.
For your own pleasure. Yeah.
For my own pleasure. So,
Mm.
and that's another reason why it meant so much, and everybody
Yes.
pushed me, promoted me, supported me, and
Yes.
set me there. And that's why I truly do believe that I love the saying that I found that we are not just a fandom. We truly are family. And like
Mm.
I said, the women I met, they mean more to me than Laurent and Larry. If they are like one tiny step down from them, I mean, none of us would have found each other if it
Yeah.
wasn't for the guys.
Hmm.
They have brought so many people together.
You're all like-minded and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I know the older fans used to do a lot of things together.
Yes.
They would plan on meeting one another when they did go to workshops,
Mm.
get together to go out to eat or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think is wonderful. They interacted with one another, I think, more so.
Hmm.
Even though when I come back from Vegas, honest to God, it took me 2 to 3 days to go through all my DMs that I
So now
have
you know
gotten
how Larry and Lo feel.
from everybody that I correspond with, that I
Uh-huh.
chat with, people that I don't even chat with that knew I was in Vegas. Another person I want to mention,
Yeah.
addicted to Lust Twins. Her name
Okay.
is Heather.
Yes.
Heather Heather is another. I have so many women that I could say are good friends. I mean,
Mm.
Heather wrote me a poem before I flew to Vegas about meeting the guys, and it made me cry. I mean, it was just beautiful. And then she sent me another poem that she had wrote for my birthday. My birthday was August 7th, so I saw them on July 27th. And then a week later was my birthday, so it was the greatest birthday present. But
Mm,
these 2 no one in my life has ever done anything like that for me. I mean, anybody I dated, you know, it and she's a wonderful writer. I truly hope that someone finds her and publishes her because she is very, very,
mm,
very good.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, I remember that. I read it too, and it was yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful when somebody
yeah.
can capture the feelings, like your
And
anticipation.
I so many of the women I talk to, I know they get me. Not everybody gets me.
Mhm.
You know, I can be very sarcastic. One of my favorite words is the F word, as I'm sure people have noticed because I post it in my stories. But I can't be somebody I'm not.
Right,
When I
beautiful.
went through chemo, I still lived my life. I still went out with my
Mm,
friends to the bar and stuff when I felt well. I'm a smoker, very blessed in my life. I really, truly
mm,
have.
mhm,
You know, when I look back down the road from where I've been, so many times I should not be sitting here. You know,
mhm,
experiences I went through, things that happened to
okay.
me,
Yeah.
couple accidents. I should not be here. But he's not done with me yet, you know?
You know what?
And
Well, I can tell you this, that when I heard your voice the first time, I thought somebody should make a movie out of somebody who's got this voice.
I tell people I should write my life story because
You
I would
should.
blow Neil Steele right out of the water. I would make you cry, believe me. There's
I'm
been a lot
sure.
of good, but there's been a lot of dark.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I can say about the guys. They bring
Uh,
lightness. They bring lightness.
mhm,
Like I said, I would not get out of my bed, hardly ever. But I get up, I get on Instagram, I post about them, I make my videos of them, I chat with all my friends. This keeps me going. I don't have anything else going in my life right now. You know, I'm on disability. I don't live the life I used to live, you
okay.
know, and that's okay. You know, I'm not the person I used to be either, but this is what I enjoy. I truly, truly enjoy it. And they're just amazing, and I'm so thankful I found them.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you found this that you enjoy so much and that makes you feel good and,
Yeah.
and you're following your joy. Yeah.
Yes. I do get a lot of joy out of it.
That
Honest to God, when I used to be on Facebook, I had started a The Twins group page there, but I'm not
mhm.
active with it because I would get at least between 10 and 20 fake Laurents every
Yeah.
single day. And the same with fake Learys. And I know of one fan I spoke to, and this was like the beginning of last year, and I felt so bad for her. She was in her 80s. Fake Laurent, which she had shown me a picture of him, had told her if she sent $3,000, he would give her a lifetime membership card. She didn't know any better. She sent it. So she was taken for 3 grand from this fool, you know. And I hate that there's all these, but the one I talked to him for almost 2 years. He was good. Some of the things he knew, I still don't know how he knew it. How did they know the things they know? You know, I tell everyone that asks me any advice, if you don't get something from less twins off, less twins on, you're not dealing with the guys.
Also from the workshop, are there any dance moment that really made an impression on you?
At the beginning, when they were doing their
Okay.
individual choreographies with people, there was 2 guys that got there early that Junie and I actually talked to outside, and I wanna say they told us they were from Puerto Rico. I know they come a long
Ah,
distance to see the guys. The one
mm,
kid was wearing a green T-shirt. He actually got brought up with Laurent in front. Laurent recognized the way he danced, and he danced with Laurent. I had said to them outside, "Well, you're never gonna be the twins." And I was teasing them, joking with them. But when we all got inside and I was watching them perform together, the 2 guys that I had been talking to outside, they were good. They were really, really good. And I even walked up to him and said, "Okay, maybe you will be the twins someday."
that was a
They interacted really well together. They danced really well together. So I was impressed. They still dance great. Larry had
mhm,
some moves back then that he doesn't do today. But I
mhm.
think Larry has really stepped up his game.
I agree.
Larry has
Yeah.
gotten so much better in
Yeah.
the last year. He really, really has.
Hey, that's why when people talk about age, it's like, I don't know, for me right now they're different. but they're different in a good way. Like that they
Yeah,
have evolved, and I want them to
yeah,
keep evolving, and just to show us that you can evolve with your body. And
right, right,
yeah, yeah,
exactly. And they do have their signature moves, whatever.
yeah.
They do certain things that the other twin will not try. You know,
Hmm.
that's just what they do,
Hmm.
just like his backdrop.
Yeah.
Or another thing I have found amazing about them is the stories I have read or been told how they feel one another's pain.
Hmm.
Larry had gotten hurt really bad when they were young. Laurent carries the scars from that. And
Yeah.
vice versa. Larry's got a scar on
It's
him
like
that was
they're the one
Laurent's.
body.
Or just when Laurent gets hurt sometimes, you'll hear Larry scream.
Yeah.
Laurent doesn't feel it. Larry has felt it. Or how they will talk and they don't talk. They don't have to speak to one another. You
Mm-hmm.
can see them communicating without even verbally expressing it. I have triplet nephews, and I have known
Mm-hmm.
a lot of twins in my lifetime. I have never known anyone that has the bond that those two have. It's like I say they have two bodies and one soul. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Have you got any closing words? Anything that you would like to say?
other than thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you
You're very
inviting me on
welcome.
here. I hope everyone enjoys it. I've enjoyed all of theirs, and I hope someday when the guys have a minute or two, they can go back and listen to a little bit of what we say about them
Hmm.
because I know they know how much they're loved. They have to,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
They
I think
probably
they,
don't know the specific stories.
yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
don't. And
Yeah.
I know they've been told, health wise, how they've come into our lives when we needed them at our darkest moments. That's another thing. It's just so impressive how they've been
Mm.
like two angels that were there when
Yeah.
we needed them.
Yeah. Many people call them that. Hey, like
Yeah,
it feels like
yeah,
angels in their
yeah.
lives. Yeah.
Makes more of a connection too. I
Yeah.
think that's another reason why we love them so much, why we care about them,
Hmm.
because of who they are and what they give, the energy they give back to us, to everyone that you don't even have to meet them to get that energy. Like I've been a fan, an obsessed fan for 3 years now, and had no clue that I would have got to meet them this year. But I would have
Mm.
continued to do what I do because they do so much for me. But
Right.
yeah, I hope someday they have the opportunity to listen to some of our stories. I think
Mm.
they'll appreciate it. Yeah.
Have one place with all the stories, or as many stories as possible, if people are
Right. And that's
willing.
what another reason this podcast is wonderful because we can do the one on one with you,
Mm.
and tell you and them, how we feel and what we see in them and, what we get from them and blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Because again, they can't get on each of our pages.
Just the testament of their impact, because it's so special and it's so
It is.
specific and it's such a unique energy, and that it just needs to be talked about. And I just love hearing people telling their experiences. All right. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Down in the description below, you can find Margaret's IG, so you can get in touch with her if you'd like. And also, there is the Twins Inspired Podcast IG as well, linked down below if you want to keep on being updated. And also, if you want to be part of the podcast, please reach out and I'll be happy to have you on and for you to tell your story on how you connected with the twins and how they have transformed your life. Thank you so much. See you all next time.